the 12 different dimensions that people are theorizing that possibly exist, and we can experience 1, 2, and 3, but we can't experience the fourth dimension because that's outside of our perception. And so it's crazy to imagine, like, what if there's another species living in the fourth dimension, but we don't fucking know. Like, it's just
Dude,
there.
that
We
would be
just
pretty
we
crazy.
can't we don't have that sense of reality. Like, that would
Yeah,
be
it's just like we're
crazy.
totally like a. Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
I think
I
my
mean, I feel like it's very possible.
Yeah, I think my favorite movie that dives into that is definitely Interstellar. Like,
Oh
Interstellar,
yeah,
oh,
man.
hands down my favorite movie. Like,
Oh, word, really?
yeah,
Yeah. One
I'm
of my favorite movies ever is his. Is Chris Nolan's too.
really. What is it?
The Dark Knight.
Really? Okay,
Dude,
okay.
I love The Dark Knight, man.
What is it about
I
it?
just like. Well, I mean, for one, it's the movie that for sure made me into Batman. Like, I love Batman as just a superhero, and actually, he's not really a superhero with like all one word, but he's more of like a superhero. Is like how I like
Yeah,
to consider him, because he's really extraordinary. Like, he's so extraordinary just as like a person, but he definitely comes from like a bad past, and he's also just like a human at the end of the day. Like, he's not
right.
superhuman, but he is like superhuman in the sense that he just kind of like can get up and like do all these crazy things.
Yeah, his
um,
IQ, if I remember, like, the dude's IQ is like in the 200s.
yeah, he's
He
ridiculous.
can go toe to toe with Brainiac, and that's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah, he can.
Like,
But that's the yeah, dude. He can go toe to toe with Superman.
I
Like, that
know
shit is wild.
Batman is
Like,
is extraordinary in himself.
yeah, because like, man, the fights, like, one of my favorite fights that Batman has is in The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
And it's this, yeah, so it's basically, it's like the Frank Miller comic, and he's old, and he doesn't really have a whole lot of life left. He's also like super beat up, but he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill Superman. And I'm just like, well, dang, like, this story really just got like
Is
crazier
that
right
is
now.
that the animation they made? I think I watched that
Oh,
animation.
they do have that. Yeah,
I
they
watched
have
that
that.
animation, and one of my favorite lines is like, I wasn't here to kill you. I just want you to know that I was the only man to beat you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
such a good
Yeah.
line.
Seriously, yeah, I know. He's like, I'm a man and you're an alien. He's like, remember me.
So,
I love that.
what is your favorite genre of movie then?
Um,
Being a film
I would
producer and
say
everything,
action.
action?
Action.
Is that what you
Yeah,
lean
I
towards
love
more
action.
in creating movies?
Um, I would say like fantasy and like sci-fi kind of is something that I lean into a lot, like, because I like to
Okay.
make stuff just get weird.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like, I'm a fan of like, just fantasy worlds and like crazy characters or zany characters. um and action you can do that with, but it's kind of like action as a genre. I think at least with American action genre, there's this kind of formula of like what's expected to be in an action genre, right? You gotta
Right.
have guns, people gotta look really good, people gotta die, like there's gotta be shooting.
Yeah. All the
So
big all the
that's
big
kind of
Michael
like
Bay
in.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And if you can get crazy with it, like go Fast and the Furious and like have cars and like,
Yeah.
just muscles, and like it's crazy, man. Or like, you can have explosions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's if your budget allows it.
Hey, Matt, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. You like the independent, sorry, I like the crappy independent disaster movies. Absolute Zero being the best. I've never seen that one.
Oh,
I've never
oh,
seen that one.
absolutely. No, I haven't seen that either.
I'll have to check that one out.
But
But
that is adding to the watch list.
so have you made any action movies or
Yeah,
action
yeah,
series?
but kind of like, well, back then, basically, like when I was in high school, like I would make like just all types of action shorts. So I would try to like, get like my friends together. We get like airsoft guns and stuff, and then I would like do visual effects and like you know, add explosions and like gun muzzle stuff and stuff like that. But it was really about like how, you know, you can choreograph action.
Right.
That's what was so cool to me. And like back then it was like, you know, there was a lot of limited resources with doing something that's live action. So, you know, there's only so much at least that I could do as a kid. But, you know, when I went into the world of Grand Theft Auto, I had free reign to do whatever it was I wanted. Like I could have explosions, I could have helicopters, like just flying like guns and like all this really, really cool stuff that, you know, anybody, if you had like an unlimited action movie budget, you could have a ton of fun in that playground.
Right.
So I was just like recording the world a lot and like following all these different characters and like, you know, with the action sequences, I did like a bank heist and I had so much fun with that. And like, you know, you follow each character like through that moment of action, like what is everybody doing in that given moment? How are they feeling right now? And like really kind of staying with them and being like, okay, like this is the person who's confident. Like this is the person who is, you know, really, really scared. This is the first time they've done it. You know, this is the person who's experienced, but like has killed a lot of people. Like those are kind of like action, like tropes that are really interesting to me. And you can kind of like take that and really run with that. And then just kind of like take things to like new levels and new heights. And Grand Theft Auto's world like gives you that freedom. So
see, that's pretty dope to me because see, I like watching character development. It's not so much about the guns or the explosion aspect, but if you can develop a really good character and why they're fighting for what they're fighting for, I think that's the most interesting part to me. The reason why I say that is because Joker this past year.
Oh, yep.
And talking about Batman, the Joker, I think, was a great movie. Not in a sense, I think it's a great movie standalone outside of the DC universe because I don't think Heath Ledger's Joker can be topped. I think Joaquin Phoenix did a great job in his own right, but I liked his character for different reasons than I liked Heath Ledger's Joker. And that's because of the character development and like why he was doing it in the psychological aspects. It wasn't so much action-y, but it was psychological. It was this like psychological warfare that was going on. And I don't know. I found it super interesting. Those are the kind of movies that I like. Is that character development is like, why is this guy going out and why is he, you know, why is he killing? Like, why is he this trained assassin now? Or why did he turn into the villain? It's that character development aspect. If you could sell me on character development, I think that's what it like. That's the best. That's the best.
Oh yeah.
Like plot for a movie for me. That's what sells me.
I mean, because well, the thing is, it's like characters are people at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, they've got
got to be relatable.
I mean, that's what makes. Yeah, I mean, like you know, what makes to me what makes a great movie is you know, characters who have actually lived a life. You can tell, and you know, through the movie, they have to make decisions on what's currently happening. And it's usually like a movie is sort of like the highlights of a moment in their life, or maybe like a long time. Like movies can go on for like, you know, the passage of time can be years. But you know, you're kind of following them on this journey that they go through, which is life basically. And so inevitably, like, you know, they are going to change. They're not going to be the same person, you know, each day. They're going to be a different person each day. So the movies that really kind of take that and really run with that journey, like, you know, you're like, oh, well, I'm with these people right now.
Right.
And that's why you feel so close to them. And yes, it is a lot of development. And it's like, that's what makes it so interesting, though, because it's like there is so much development that they have to do because they're in a situation where we're like, oh, wow, like that's a pretty extraordinary situation. I'm currently not, you know, going through that right now. I'm just watching them deal with that.
Right. And that's the best is like to feel like you're there with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be scary. I like the movie of Matt's life. Matt said The Last of Us would be a great movie to make. I've never played that game. Never played that game.
That's a really good game.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
I've never played it, and I heard they're coming out with the second one. Like, is that right?
Yeah, they might have launched that. I kept seeing that a lot. Could you send me that link to the chat?
Yeah.
I can't
so
find that in there.
let me. Let me open this back up. Sorry, guys. Let me do this.
My fault.
Yeah, you're fine.
Um,
It'd probably be easiest just to take it from here.
but
So
yeah,
I sent
The
it
Last
to
of
you
Us.
through Facebook. Just follow
Dope.
that link,
Dope.
and you'll have it up. You'll be able to see your beautiful face on screen. Everything will be good. So, what's the hardest part about doing these kind of movies? Like, I know you're like all around. What's the hardest part about filming a movie or a series?
Ooh, Well, they are two different challenges.
Okay, let's start
When
with the
you're filming a
question.
movie,
Let's start with the question then. Which one's harder and which one's easier? Filming a movie or a series?
well, I would say episodic is harder.
Really?
Um, yeah, because with episodic, you're dealing with multiple episodes. You're dealing with a lot of a lot of different characters too, a lot of different stories. And in a movie, you can do that same thing. And I'm actually working on a movie right now where I'm working with like an ensemble cast of characters. So it feels TV in that regard, but it's also like a shorter process. With
Okay.
episodic, you're going on for like years, or however many episodes you decide to go. Um, the biggest challenge I had when making the web series that I did was that I was shooting it in very little time, and there were a lot of episodes that I had written, or at least more than what I ended up shooting. I ended up condensing a lot of stuff, cutting out some characters that really didn't need to be in the story, because I was kind of like, oh, well, they're better in like a season 2 arc. Because at that point, it was kind of like, oh, well, now we're following this, and like sometimes your budget doesn't allow it either. So I was like, okay, I'll shoot in 6 days, and it's like going to be 6 episodes. And so, you also have to edit all that stuff too. Right. So, I was shooting kind of an out of sequence. And that's the good thing about that, was that I got to like watch a lot of dailies and then sort of redesign my story. So I got to, and dailies are basically like clips from the day. Like you get to just, like once you shoot the movie, you get to like watch the footage. And then just kind of decide like, okay, like these are moments that I liked in this footage, and
Right.
like, what do I want to do with them? Is it going to help me tell my story? But yeah, episodic, it just took a longer time for me.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that one would be the worst, or not the worst, but like the most challenging in that sense.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's fun. I would say it's a lot of fun, because I think episodic is like, it's kind of like you get to